Hello and welcome to the barn. I'm going to talk about a few of the features of the house and show a few photos, and I'll put a list at the end with various resources that we've used. So here we are tucked in on a hammerhead block in suburbia. We've got our house located on the southern edge of the block so that we can have a garden on the northern side and get all. You've probably seen something like this before, but this is basically how our house works also. That low winter sun, low in the sky sun comes in, warms the house, and in summer the sun's excluded by either the eave of the house or, in our case, a pergola with a deciduous vine. So that aspect is so important because that's how we get all of our heating and how we stay cool. So in winter, that sun streams in here through the windows. It warms this room, which warms the floor and the thermal mass wall. The floor is exposed concrete, and the thermal mass wall is cob, which is just clay and more mud and straw mixed together. So when this room warms up in winter, the sun's hitting the window, the room's getting warm, the floor and the wall will warm up to say 25 degrees. You have a cold night, and the wall and the floor will radiate their heat back into the room and keep you sort of between 20 and 25 degrees. In summer, to cool down at night, we open the windows on the south, open them out, and they catch the breeze. So the hot air naturally rises and passes out and up through the clerestory window, and the cool air comes in, runs over the wall and fills the room with cool air. And again, that cools the wall and the floor now. And if you have a 18-20 degree night in summer, you might cool the floor down to the low 20s. You shut the house in the morning, and if you have a 40 or 45 degree day, you start with a large amount of thermal mass at low 20s, which keeps you around that 25 degree mark again. So here is the main living area on the morning of June 22nd, which is winter solstice. And that's that sun coming deep into the room, warming the room, hitting the floor, hitting the wall, and this is that thermal mass wall there. So they're both warming up just by that room having such a warm ambient temperature from the sun hitting the glass, thanks to the aspect. So yeah, you can see here, full exposure to the north, getting all of that lovely winter sun. The house is a standard timber frame house, and we have used straw bales on the outside walls, on the east, south and western walls, to insulate the house. The bales came from a farm just north of Adelaide, and we stacked them up in the lounge room, which is where the house first got nicknamed the barn. Some friends came over and helped us install them with the house of bales, who are the professionals. And in the end, it looked like that. It's just basically like stacking up bricks or Lego. And then you go ahead and render them. So here's house of bales rendering the bedroom wall. This is a clay render, so it's just clay and sand. And that's the first coat of render going straight onto the bale. It takes about 3 coats to get the type of finish we want, which was flat. And here it is, you can see it's quite flat, but with a beautiful texture and colour. Here you can see how wide a straw bale is from the outside to inside. It's about 520 mils, and that's what gives you such high insulation values and also great sound dampening qualities. We have wooden windows, as you can see here, and these windows are quite excellent. They have this little latch here that you pull down and it creates an airtight seal. You can also leave it open to have a little slight air change if you like. And then there's a winder to wind it out so that you can capture the breeze as it blows through. Hidden up here you can see this is a double honeycomb blind, and by having it up in here it's out of the way and you can't see it, and it's also pelmeted, which is very important. This is the thermal mass wall in the centre of the house. It's a standard stub wall with gyprock on one side, and then here's our friends helping us stack up mud inside the frame, and basically we filled it to the top, and then House of Bales came and rendered this wall like the other walls. That's to give you an idea of the texture and colour of the render, which is a white clay with a white clay pit sand. Here's the dog soaking up the sun in winter. Here you can see another hidden curtain rail. This time it's inside the bulkhead, and the curtains disappear into those walls. So yeah, the curtain comes in here and in here, and that frees you up to have whatever you want in your room. Here you can see the outside of the straw bale, which is rendered in a lime render, which is just lime and sand. This is the doors to the garage, and this is, instead of having a roller door, we've got barn doors, which allows us to have an insulated door with a really good seal, unlike a roller door which bleeds heat and cool, and you can't really seal them. This is our hot water heater. It's an old school 3.6 kilowatt element hot water heater, but we have it paired with a new piece of technology, which is a solar diverter. And what this little box does is trick this 3.6 kilowatt water heater into being infinitely variable. So you can see it's using power as our generation goes up. So this is our power generation in the day from solar. And then if a cloud comes over, it'll turn it down. And then when the sun's come back up, and it just follows your production throughout the day. If you use something else in the house, it'll turn this down, or if the sun goes away, it'll turn this down and turn it off. And that way it helps you to not import power from the grid. And over the winter period, this reduced our import overall from the grid for the winter quarter bill by 40% compared to last year. So I won't talk more about this now, but I'll talk more about it at the Sustainable House Day expert session on going all electric, which is on the 28th of September. So jump on the Sustainable House Day 2021 program page, and you'll see there's a whole month of excellent information sessions that you can review online. Here's the floor plan, and you can see straw bale down the east, south and west. No windows in the west, which is very important here. This central wall has louvers in it, which allows those air flowing through the house and out through the high windows. So thanks for checking out the house. Here's a list of things we've talked about, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer, so just send me an email, and enjoy your Sustainable House Day.